According to an ancient Jewish interpretation of the Bible, known as the Kabbalah, Adam was created from a human-like race that already existed on Earth. There are some who believe this points to the genetic engineering of Homo sapiens, and that further manipulation of human DNA can be found in the biblical story of the Garden of Eden.
Let's look then at the story of the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve, living sort of blissfully in this Edenic garden. And then suddenly this serpent being comes to them and offers them some special food to eat.
Who is this serpent? Ancient legend tells us that the serpent in the Garden of Eden was actually a humanoid form. It stood erect, had arms, and had legs, and clearly it spoke. The serpent talks to Eve and says, hey, have a piece of fruit. Eve eats, Adam too.
And suddenly they completely change into what we would call modern people, who are now creating clothing, creating ornaments. They're building houses and vehicles, tools and things like that. We have, in a sense, an evolutionary leap from primitive humans to more modern humans who are more aware of themselves and their surroundings.
According to ancient astronaut theorists, strikingly similar creation myths exist in ancient cultures around the world. For instance, Mayan tradition describes how humans were created by a feathered serpent known as Kukulkan. And ancient Chinese stories portray the first emperor, Huangdi, as the offspring of a human woman and a dragon god who descended from the sky. But perhaps most remarkable of all is the creation story of the Sumerians, who are believed by most mainstream archaeologists to be the earliest human civilization on Earth. Approximately 4,000 years ago, the Sumerians recorded stories about powerful beings called the Anunnaki, who descended to Earth from the sky. One of these figures was known as Enki. And according to author Zecharia Sitchin, who spent years studying the Sumerian cuneiform tablets, Enki is the equivalent of the serpent in the Garden of Eden.
Enki is the god of technology of the Anunnaki. Zecharia Sitchin noticed that Enki was symbolized by a serpent, and he made the simple leap to suggest that he, in fact, is the serpent in the Garden of Eden that was responsible for putting us on our current path of evolution. Enki altered our human DNA in order to awaken us and to illuminate us. Ancient astronaut theory proposes that this actually is extraterrestrial intervention, that as the Egyptian and Sumerian stories tell us, beings came from other worlds and activated that part of our brain that makes us human.